When life gets heavy, it is easy to feel like giving up. True strength comes when you keep moving forward, even when every part of you wants to stop. Hard times will test your patience and your hope. The real power is found in the choice to stay steady when everything feels uncertain. Strength is not about never falling. It is about standing again with more courage than before. Today we will talk about the secret to staying strong when life gets hard. Life is not always fair, and struggles come when we least expect them. Pain, loss, and disappointment can shake your confidence and make you question your worth. But strength is not about avoiding the hard times. It is about building the mindset and habits that keep you grounded and focused. Staying strong is about learning how to handle pressure without losing yourself. It is about choosing growth over defeat. It is about trusting that every hardship can teach you something that makes you stronger. If you're ready to discover the secret to staying strong no matter how tough life gets, then let's dive in. Number 1. Focus on what you can control every day. Life is not always easy. Some days it feels like the weight of the world is pressing on your shoulders. You wake up and the first thought in your mind is how much you have to face. The bills are piling up, the job is uncertain, relationships are strained, your health may not feel the way it used to. These things can make you feel powerless. And when people feel powerless, they often shut down. But let me tell you something clear and true. The real power you have is not in controlling what happens around you. The real power is in controlling what happens within you. And that is where strength begins. Every day you are surrounded by noise. People will say things, circumstances will change. Problems will show up when you least expect them. You cannot predict every challenge that will come tomorrow, but you can predict your own actions. You can decide what time you wake up. You can decide how much effort you give. You can decide the words you say. You can decide the food you eat. You can decide how much you learn. These are choices in your hands, and every time you focus on what is in your hands, you reclaim your strength. Think about the times when stress was the highest. It often comes when you spend too much time worrying about things you cannot move. You replay conversations in your head. You think about people who will never change. You imagine problems that have not happened yet. That worry steals your energy. But the moment you shift that energy to something you can do today, everything feels different. Maybe you cannot fix a relationship overnight, but you can control how you listen and how you speak. Maybe you cannot change the economy, but you can control how much you save and how much you spend. Maybe you cannot stop aging, but you can control how you take care of your body. That focus gives you stability. There is a reason some people seem calm even in chaos. They are not immune to problems. They have not escaped reality. They simply understand the rule of control. They know that life is filled with endless factors outside of them. They know that if they try to fight everything, they will burn out. So they return each day to a small circle of focus. They ask themselves, what can I do today with what I have? That simple question gives them peace. It keeps them from drowning in worry, and it builds strength, one day at a time. Strength is not about being tough all the time. Strength is about direction. When you control what you can, you give your life direction. You are not a passenger being tossed by the storm. You are a driver steering the wheel. Maybe the road has bumps. Maybe it rains, but you still choose how you hold that wheel. That is power. And power creates confidence. Confidence creates progress. And progress creates a stronger you. Now let me remind you, control is not about perfection. You will not control every thought you have. You will not control every emotion you feel. Sometimes you will get frustrated. Sometimes you will get tired. Sometimes you will lose your focus, but even then, you have control over what you do next. You can take a deep breath. You can reset. You can choose again. That is the gift of control. It renews itself every moment, and that is why no day is ever wasted if you use the control you have. When life feels overwhelming, break it down. Look around you and find the little things you can manage today. Make your bed, clean your desk, send that one email, drink a glass of water, go for a short walk. These things may seem small, but small acts of control build momentum. When you do one small thing, you feel capable of the next. When you do the next, you feel capable of more. Before you know it, you have turned a heavy day into a day of progress. I want you to remember that control is not about forcing outcomes. Control is about guiding your actions. You cannot make someone love you, but you can choose to love yourself enough to stand tall. You cannot make your boss give you a promotion, but you can choose to work with discipline so that opportunity finds you ready. You cannot control the weather, but you can control your attitude about the day. These simple shifts are what create resilience. There is also another truth to control. The more you try to control other people, the weaker you feel, because people are unpredictable. They have their own minds. They have their own choices. If you spend your time trying to bend them to your will, you will suffer constant disappointment. But when you let go of trying to control others and instead focus on yourself, you feel lighter. You feel free. That freedom gives you space to grow, and growth is where strength lives. Sometimes people say life is unfair, and maybe it is, but fairness is not something you can control. You cannot control where you were born. You cannot control the past. You cannot control the mistakes already made. What you can control is how you move forward, and when you commit to forward, the past loses its grip. You may carry lessons, you may carry scars, but you do not have to carry chains. That is the secret of control. It liberates you from what you cannot change. Think of your life as a balance of two zones. One zone is where you have control. The other zone is where you do not. The more time you spend in the zone you cannot control, the weaker you feel. The more time you spend in the zone you can control, the stronger you feel. The trick is to recognize which zone you are in at every moment. If you catch yourself worrying about something far away, pull yourself back to today. If you find yourself stuck on what someone else should do, pull yourself back to what you can do. That habit creates resilience. People often ask me, how do you stay strong when everything falls apart? My answer is simple. I stop looking at what I cannot fix and start working on what I can. If I cannot change the economy, I can sharpen my skills. If I cannot stop people from gossiping, I can protect my character. If I cannot erase the past, I can create a better future. That habit has saved me more than once. It has carried me through failure, through rejection, through loss. It will carry you too if you commit to it daily. Now let us talk about how to make this real in your life. Each morning, take a moment to ask yourself one question. What do I control today? Write down 3 answers. They can be simple, they can be practical. Then put your energy into those 3 things. This practice keeps you focused. It stops your mind from wandering into the zone you cannot manage. It keeps your strength alive. And when problems show up, do the same thing. Ask yourself, is this in my control? If the answer is yes, take action. If the answer is no, let it go. You may have to let it go 10 times a day. That is okay. Each time you release it, you gain energy. Each time you release it, you gain peace. And peace is what makes you stronger when life gets hard. I want you to imagine how your days will feel if you master this habit. Instead of feeling drained by endless worries, you will feel charged by small victories. Instead of being trapped by what others do, you will be free in your own decisions. Instead of waiting for life to be perfect, you will create progress in imperfect conditions. That is how you build strength. Not by wishing the storm away, but by controlling how you stand in the rain. The truth is, life is full of hard seasons. Some of them will test you to the limit. But if you remember this lesson of control, you will never be completely broken. You may bend, you may stumble, you may cry, but you will stand again, because you will know that no matter what happens outside, you always have something you can manage inside. And that is the core of staying strong when life gets hard. Number 2. Practice gratitude daily to strengthen your inner resilience. Life has a way of pulling you into the darkness when things go wrong. You wake up and the first thought that crosses your mind is everything that is missing. You notice the bills unpaid. You see the people who left you. You feel the pressure of dreams that have not yet come true. And in those moments, it is easy to feel like nothing is working. It is easy to believe that life is only pain. But here is the truth that most people overlook. No matter how difficult life gets, there are always things to be grateful for. And when you practice gratitude daily, you build strength in places you thought were broken. Gratitude is not about ignoring your problems. Gratitude is about remembering the gifts that remain even in the middle of those problems. When life gets heavy, most people place all their attention on what is wrong. They count their struggles. They count their failures. They count what they lost. That focus creates more pain. But the moment you pause and count what you still have, something shifts inside. You notice the bed you slept in. You notice the roof that kept you dry. You notice the meal you ate. You notice the person who checked on you. These simple details begin to remind you that not everything is against you. And when you practice this daily, your heart becomes stronger. Gratitude is like lifting weights for your spirit. It adds strength little by little until you are able to carry much more than before. People think resilience is only about toughness, but resilience is also about perspective. If your mind only sees loss, it will feel empty. If your mind sees both struggle and blessing, it will feel balanced. That balance keeps you from falling apart. Gratitude is what creates that balance. You may have lost money, but you still have skills. You may have lost a relationship, but you still have the chance to grow. You may have lost time, but you still have today. Gratitude makes you see what remains, and what remains is always enough to build on. You have to remember that gratitude is not automatic. Your mind is naturally drawn to problems because problems demand attention. Gratitude requires intention. It requires you to stop and look around. It requires you to notice the good that is so easy to miss. The sound of your own breath, the warmth of sunlight through a window, the friend who sent a message, the stranger who held a door open. These are not small things when life feels heavy. These are reminders that life still has beauty. Practicing gratitude is a choice, and every time you make that choice, you grow stronger on the inside. Think about the times when everything felt overwhelming. You thought you could not go on. Then someone gave you a kind word, or you saw a child smile, or you remembered a moment from your past that gave you peace. That spark of gratitude helped you stand. It gave you one more reason to keep going. That is how gratitude works. It does not erase pain. It gives you strength inside the pain. It reminds you that even in the darkest night, there are still lights to guide you forward. You can begin this practice right now. Every morning before you reach for your phone, take a moment to name 3 things you are grateful for. Do not wait for big miracles. Start with simple truths. I am grateful I woke up today. I am grateful I have food to eat. I am grateful I can breathe and move. This simple practice changes the way your day begins. It sets your mind on stability instead of chaos. And if you repeat this daily, gratitude becomes part of who you are. When you are in the middle of hardship, it is gratitude that will keep you steady. Without gratitude, you will only see walls in front of you. With gratitude, you will see doors. Gratitude does not solve everything, but it gives you the energy to try again. It reminds you that you are not empty. It reminds you that you are not forgotten. It reminds you that you are not powerless. This strength is what resilience really is. Not the absence of struggle, but the ability to endure it with hope still alive. Some people wait until life gets better before they feel grateful. That is a mistake. Gratitude is not a reward for perfect days. Gratitude is the tool that makes hard days bearable. When you practice it daily, you are preparing your mind for the storms that will come. You are building a habit of seeing the good even when the bad is louder, and that habit can save you, because when the storm hits, your mind will already know how to search for light. Gratitude also changes how you treat others. When you feel grateful for the people in your life, you speak with more kindness, you listen more deeply, you forgive more easily. This creates stronger relationships, and strong relationships are part of resilience. Because when you fall, the people you treated with gratitude will be there to help you rise. Gratitude multiplies strength, not just in you, but also in those around you. There will always be voices that say gratitude is too simple, that it cannot make a real difference in the face of pain. But the truth is, simple practices often create the greatest change. Gratitude changes the way you see yourself. It changes the way you see your future. It changes the way you see your challenges. And when your vision changes, your strength multiplies, because resilience is built on how you interpret the story of your life. Gratitude helps you write a better story. At night, when you are ready to sleep, try another gratitude exercise. Write down 3 good things that happened in your day. They do not have to be big. Maybe you enjoyed a meal. Maybe you laughed with someone. Maybe you finished a task. Write them down. This closes your day with peace. It reminds your mind that even in a day full of stress, there were still moments worth remembering. This practice helps you rest better, and rest is also part of resilience. If you make gratitude a daily practice, your perspective will change in ways you cannot imagine. You will no longer be defined by your losses. You will be defined by your strength. You will carry problems, but you will also carry blessings. You will cry, but you will also smile. You will fall, but you will also rise. Gratitude makes you whole, and wholeness is what makes you strong enough to keep going no matter how heavy life feels. The truth is, life is not always kind. Life will test you. Life will break you. Life will demand more than you think you can give. But gratitude gives you a reason to give more. It gives you a reason to get back up. It gives you a reason to keep believing. Gratitude is the fuel of resilience. Without it, life will crush you. With it, you will stand through anything. Number 3, surround yourself with people who uplift your spirit. There are moments in life when you feel drained before the day even begins. You wake up already tired in your mind because of the weight you carry. Much of that weight does not always come from work or responsibilities. A big part of it comes from the people you spend your time with. You know what I mean. There are people who pull the life out of you. They criticize, they complain, they drain your energy. Then there are people who do the opposite. They encourage you, they inspire you, they remind you of your worth. The truth is simple. If you want to stay strong when life gets hard, You must surround yourself with people who lift your spirit instead of pulling it down. It is not easy to admit, but many of us spend more time with people who weaken us than with those who strengthen us. We tell ourselves we have to tolerate negative voices because they are family, or they are co-workers, or they have been around for years. But here is the hard truth. If you allow constant negativity around you, your inner strength will slowly collapse. People shape your energy without you even noticing. Their words, their moods, and their attitudes all influence your own. That is why you must be intentional about who you keep close. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table when you are fighting to stay strong. Think about the people in your life right now. Who makes you feel hopeful after you speak with them? Who makes you feel drained the moment they leave the room? Who pushes you to do better? Who convinces you that failure is the only outcome? These are not small questions. These are questions that decide whether you rise or whether you fall. Because when life gets heavy, the last thing you need is someone pushing you deeper into the ground. What you need is someone who says, "You can make it through this, and I will stand with you." You have to protect your spirit like you protect your health. If you feed your body with nothing but junk, your body breaks down. If you feed your spirit with nothing but negativity, your spirit breaks down. People are food for the soul. Some nourish you, some poison you. That is why it matters who you let close. When you spend time with people who see the best in you, they remind you of your strength. When you spend time with people who believe in you, they help you believe in yourself. When you spend time with people who encourage growth, you find the courage to grow. There will always be people who doubt you. That is a part of life, but you do not have to live in their shadow. You can choose to surround yourself with voices that lift instead of voices that tear down. This choice is one of the greatest sources of resilience, because no matter how strong you are alone, the truth is we are all influenced by the people around us. If you want to stand tall in hard times, surround yourself with people who refuse to let you fall. Some will argue that they cannot choose who they are around. They will say their workplace is full of negativity, or their family brings them down. While it is true that you may not control every environment, you can always choose who you give your heart and mind to. You can limit your conversations with those who drain you. You can invest more time with those who lift you. You can seek out groups, communities, or friendships that bring positivity into your life. These choices may seem small, but over time they change the direction of your energy. When you find the right people, you will feel the difference immediately. They will listen without judgment. They will celebrate your progress, no matter how small. They will remind you that mistakes do not define you. They will push you to rise again after every setback. These people are not perfect, but they are committed to lifting, not tearing down. Having even one or two people like this in your life can be the difference between giving up and moving forward. Do not confuse this with only surrounding yourself with people who agree with you. People who uplift you will not always tell you what you want to hear. They will challenge you, but their challenge will come from care, not from cruelty. They will correct you, but their correction will build you, not break you. That is the power of uplifting people. They strengthen you with truth and kindness at the same time. They help you grow without making you feel small. It is also important to recognize that uplifting relationships are mutual. You cannot only seek people who lift you without being willing to lift them. Strength in relationships comes from giving as well as receiving. When you encourage someone else, you also strengthen yourself. When you support another person, you build a bond that becomes a source of resilience for both of you. This is why gratitude and kindness in relationships are essential. They keep the cycle of support alive. There will be times when you must walk away from people who consistently drag you down. This is not easy. It may even hurt. But holding on to toxic connections drains your ability to grow. You cannot stay strong while allowing constant negativity to feed on your energy. You have to make room for people who add value to your life. This is not about arrogance. This is about survival. This is about protecting your strength so you can keep moving forward. When life gets hard, you need people who remind you of your worth. You need people who say, "Do not quit. I believe in you." You need people who see your potential when you are blind to it. These people are not always easy to find, but they exist. You may find them in a friend, in a mentor, in a support group, or even in a stranger who shares your journey. The key is to stay open to new connections and willing to let go of harmful ones. If you want to test whether someone uplifts you, pay attention to how you feel after spending time with them. Do you feel heavier or lighter? Do you feel drained or inspired? Do you feel hopeless or motivated? Your emotions are clear signals. Trust them. The people who leave you feeling lighter, inspired, and motivated are the ones you need to keep close. They are not just friends. They are anchors in hard times. They are part of your foundation of resilience. You must also remember that you deserve to be around people who bring out the best in you. Too many people settle for relationships that break them because they think they do not deserve better, but you do. You deserve people who respect you. You deserve people who appreciate you. You deserve people who push you forward instead of holding you back. Do not settle for less. The strength of your spirit depends on the company you keep. In the end, life is already hard enough without being surrounded by people who make it harder. If you want to stay strong, protect your circle. Choose people who bring peace instead of chaos. Choose people who bring hope instead of despair. Choose people who bring encouragement instead of criticism. These choices will not remove all of life's struggles, but they will give you the strength to face them with a lighter heart and a stronger mind. Number 4. Break big problems into small, manageable daily actions. Life often feels overwhelming because the challenges in front of you appear enormous. You wake up with a mountain of tasks and problems pressing on your mind. The bills, the deadlines, the conflicts, the health issues, and the responsibilities all collide at once. When you look at them as one giant mass, your brain shuts down. You feel stuck. You feel anxious. You feel powerless. But here is the reality most people miss. No problem is too big when you break it down into small, manageable daily actions. Strength is built one step at a time. You do not need to solve everything today. You only need to take the next small step. When we see a big problem, we naturally panic. We think the solution must match the size of the problem. But that is rarely the case. Every complex problem is made of smaller, simpler pieces. The trick is to identify those pieces and focus on one at a time. If your financial situation is overwhelming, start by tracking your expenses today. If your health is suffering, start with one healthy meal or a 10-minute walk. If your work feels impossible, start by organizing your tasks for the day. Each small action creates clarity and momentum. Once momentum builds, even the largest problems become conquerable. Breaking problems into small actions also reduces mental fatigue. When your mind is overloaded with too many responsibilities, it triggers stress and anxiety. The body reacts with tension, the heart races, and your ability to think clearly diminishes. But when you focus on one small task at a time, your mind can concentrate. You gain clarity. You start feeling capable again. The sense of control returns, and with control comes confidence. The cumulative effect of completing small actions every day transforms feelings of helplessness into feelings of progress and empowerment. Many people make the mistake of waiting for motivation before taking action. They think, I will start when I feel ready, or I will start when things are easier. But the truth is, motivation rarely comes before action. Action creates motivation. When you start with small steps, you begin to see movement. You notice that things are changing, even if slowly. That sense of change ignites motivation. Your confidence grows, and before long, the problem that once seemed impossible feels manageable. The key is consistency. Small actions matter only if you repeat them daily. One day of action may not solve the entire problem, but repeated actions create progress that compounds over time. Imagine a single drop of water falling on a stone every day. It does not seem powerful at first, but over months and years, it changes the shape of the stone. That is how small daily actions work. They wear down obstacles. They build habits. They turn problems into challenges you can face without fear. You also have to be honest when breaking problems into steps. Avoid skipping the uncomfortable parts or pretending something is simpler than it is. If a relationship is broken, small actions might include honest communication, listening, and setting boundaries. If your health is suffering, small actions might include preparing a healthy meal, walking, or tracking your sleep. Every small step must be concrete and actionable. Vague intentions like "I will try harder" do not create results. Real actions create progress and, over time, resilience. Breaking problems into small actions also reduces the tendency to procrastinate. When you see a massive problem, your mind wants to escape it. You tell yourself you will start tomorrow, next week, or next month. But when the problem is broken into tiny pieces, the first piece feels achievable. You can take that first action immediately. That initial movement creates momentum, and momentum fuels further action. Over time, you realize that even the most overwhelming situations can be tackled when approached one step at a time. It is important to celebrate small victories along the way. Completing even one small step is progress. Too often, people focus only on the end result and forget to acknowledge the steps they took to get there. Celebrating small victories reinforces positive behavior and strengthens your will to continue. It also reminds you that you are not powerless. Every step you take proves that you have the ability to move forward, no matter how difficult the circumstances. Another advantage of breaking problems into small actions is that it sharpens your focus. When you focus on the next step rather than the whole mountain, you give your brain clear instructions. You reduce overwhelm, you reduce stress, you reduce anxiety, your mind works more efficiently, and your body responds more calmly. The clarity of focus that comes from manageable steps allows you to make better decisions and take stronger actions. People often resist this approach because they want results immediately. They think, if I cannot solve it all at once, it is not worth trying. But life does not work that way. No great achievement ever happens overnight. Every success, every solution, every breakthrough is the result of small actions repeated consistently over time. By committing to these small actions daily, you are investing in your future strength. You are creating a foundation that allows you to face bigger challenges with confidence. It is also essential to break problems into actions that are within your control. Focusing on things you cannot change is a trap. If a problem involves other people, start with your own behavior. If a problem involves circumstances, start with what you can manage. For example, if your career feels stuck, focus on improving your skills, networking, completing a task today. Control what is in your hands and do it consistently. That focus is empowering and reduces the frustration that comes from trying to force things beyond your reach. When stress feels overwhelming, breaking problems into small actions allows you to create a roadmap. Instead of being paralyzed by uncertainty, you create clarity. You know what needs to be done next. You know where your energy should go. You can plan each day with intention rather than react to chaos. That sense of purpose strengthens you. You move through life with determination instead of being dragged along by fear or anxiety. The beauty of small actions is that they compound. One step today may not solve the problem, but it sets the stage for the next step tomorrow. Each day builds on the last. Each small step makes the next one easier. Gradually, you will find that the problem that once seemed insurmountable is now manageable. Your confidence will grow, your strength will grow, and you will understand a simple truth. The power to overcome challenges lies in consistent, deliberate small actions repeated every day. Number 5. Build mental strength by embracing discomfort and uncertainty. Life does not give you warning before it tests your limits. One day everything seems fine, and the next day circumstances change in ways you cannot control. People disappoint you, plans fail, and expectations are crushed. In those moments, most people run from discomfort. They avoid uncertainty. They cling to what is familiar even if it does not serve them. That is natural. Our minds are wired to seek comfort. But here is the reality you must face if you want to stay strong. True mental strength is built not by avoiding discomfort, but by leaning into it. It is forged when you face uncertainty with courage, not when you wait for perfect conditions to arrive. When you embrace discomfort, you are telling yourself that your growth matters more than your fear. It is uncomfortable to admit that you do not have all the answers. It is uncomfortable to take risks when failure is a real possibility. It is uncomfortable to have difficult conversations, to make decisions that challenge the status quo, and to step outside routines that feel safe. But each act of discomfort stretches your mind. Each moment you accept uncertainty teaches your brain that you can survive, adapt, and continue even when things are unpredictable. Over time, your confidence in facing life's challenges increases dramatically. People avoid uncertainty because it triggers stress. Your mind interprets unknown situations as threats. Your body reacts with tension, shallow breathing, and racing thoughts. These responses are natural, but avoiding the discomfort only strengthens fear. The more you run from it, the weaker you feel when problems appear. The only way to train your mind is to step into the tension consciously. Take small risks in areas that matter. Accept that you cannot predict outcomes. Decide to take action even when the result is unclear. This practice reshapes your thinking. It replaces fear with confidence. It replaces hesitation with action. Mental strength is also about learning from discomfort. Every time you face a challenge, you discover what you are capable of. You learn the limits of your patience, your persistence, and your resilience. You discover strengths you did not know existed. These lessons cannot be learned in comfort. They cannot be learned in predictable circumstances. They are discovered only when you embrace the unknown, when you allow life to stretch you, and when you commit to moving forward despite uncertainty. Each experience becomes a building block for your inner power. Another key to embracing discomfort is to reframe your thinking. Instead of seeing difficulties as threats, view them as opportunities to grow. Every challenging conversation, every financial struggle, every health obstacle is a chance to practice resilience. Every moment of uncertainty is an invitation to test your courage. The more you practice this mindset, the more you find that you are capable of handling situations that once felt impossible. Discomfort becomes a teacher, not an enemy. Uncertainty becomes a path, not a roadblock. Most people fear failure more than anything else. They worry about embarrassment, loss, or judgment. But avoiding failure does not build strength. Facing the possibility of failure and continuing anyway is what builds unshakable mental resilience. When you step forward, even when the outcome is uncertain, you strengthen your mind. You learn that disappointment does not destroy you. You learn that setbacks are temporary. You learn that the power to respond lies within you, not in controlling circumstances. Each time you practice this, your capacity to handle life expands. Building mental strength also requires patience with yourself. Discomfort is difficult. Uncertainty is uncomfortable. You will have moments when you feel scared, frustrated, or exhausted. These moments do not mean you are weak. They mean you are human. Accept your emotions without judgment, but do not allow them to stop you. Continue moving forward, continue facing challenges, continue taking steps even if they are small. Over time, the repeated practice of embracing discomfort shapes a mind that is resilient and strong. It is important to start small. You do not have to leap into life-threatening risks to build mental strength. Start with manageable challenges. Speak up when you would normally stay silent. Try a new task at work even if you might fail. Ask questions that feel uncomfortable. Tackle a minor fear each day. Each small step of discomfort accumulates. Each small risk strengthens your ability to handle bigger challenges. By practicing consistently, you will discover that what once intimidated you becomes manageable. Another aspect of uncertainty is learning to tolerate not knowing. Most people feel anxious when they cannot predict the future. They obsess over outcomes, over what could go wrong, and over what they cannot control. Mental strength grows when you accept that you cannot see every twist and turn ahead. You make the best decisions you can with the information available, and you move forward without guarantees. Over time, this ability to act despite uncertainty becomes a superpower. It allows you to remain calm, clear-headed, and decisive in moments when others panic. Embracing discomfort also builds problem-solving skills. When you face unknowns, your mind is forced to adapt. You learn to think creatively. You learn to strategize under pressure. You learn to stay flexible. These skills cannot be developed in comfort or routine. They emerge only when the environment challenges you and requires you to respond. Every difficult situation becomes a training ground for mental agility. The more you practice, the sharper and more resilient you become. You also strengthen your emotional control by leaning into discomfort. When life throws obstacles in your path, it is easy to react with anger, frustration, or despair. But by facing discomfort regularly, you learn to respond intentionally instead of reacting impulsively. You notice your emotions, you acknowledge them, and you continue taking constructive actions. Emotional regulation is a core component of mental strength, and it develops only through repeated exposure to challenging circumstances. When uncertainty feels unbearable, remember that discomfort is temporary and growth is permanent. Every time you push through fear, every time you take action despite doubt, every time you endure tension, you reinforce the belief that you can handle whatever comes next. This reinforcement accumulates. You gradually build a mind that is unshakable, confident, and prepared for life's inevitable hardships. The discomfort of today becomes the strength of tomorrow. Some people avoid discomfort so completely that they miss opportunities for transformation. Life rewards those who are willing to step into the unknown. Those who embrace challenges develop skills, confidence, and resilience that cannot be learned in comfort. The mind learns to trust itself. You begin to understand that you are capable of navigating uncertainty and that setbacks do not define you. This realization is liberating. It allows you to face future challenges with courage instead of fear. Building mental strength through discomfort also requires reflection. After each challenging experience, take a moment to notice what you learned. What did you discover about yourself? What did you handle well? What could you improve next time? Reflection turns experience into knowledge. Knowledge becomes confidence. Confidence becomes resilience. Each cycle of challenge, action and reflection reinforces your inner strength and prepares you for even greater challenges. Number 6. Create a morning routine that anchors your emotional stability. Most people start their days in chaos without realizing how much it shapes their mindset. You wake up, grab your phone, and immediately dive into emails, messages, or news. Your mind is flooded with demands before your feet even hit the floor. The chaos sets the tone for the entire day. Stress, anxiety, and overwhelm take control before you even have a chance to think clearly. Life does not have to begin this way. One of the most powerful ways to stay strong and emotionally stable is to create a morning routine that sets the tone for your entire day. A routine anchors you. It gives your mind a starting point of calm and clarity, even when the rest of the world is unpredictable. A morning routine does not need to be long or complicated. It can start with a few simple, deliberate actions that prepare your mind and body for the day ahead. The key is consistency. Doing the same steps every morning trains your brain to anticipate stability. You can start with small actions such as taking deep breaths, stretching, or simply sitting in quiet reflection. These simple moments give you a sense of control. They allow your mind to transition from sleep to awareness without being bombarded by stress. Every minute spent intentionally in the morning builds emotional resilience that lasts all day. When you begin to structure your mornings intentionally, you notice a shift in how you respond to challenges. The mind that starts the day in panic reacts impulsively. The mind that starts the day anchored reacts with calm and clarity. You begin to approach tasks deliberately instead of being pushed around by circumstances. You handle interruptions without panic. You listen more carefully. You respond more thoughtfully. This is because your morning routine gives you a foundation. It is the first action that reminds you, I have control over my day. I choose how to respond. I choose how to feel. A powerful morning routine also strengthens mental focus. Most people spend their mornings reacting rather than acting. They scroll endlessly through social media, check every notification, or worry about problems before breakfast. This scattered attention creates stress and depletes mental energy. But a deliberate routine focuses your mind on priorities. You start with what matters most, your own preparation. Whether it is through journaling, setting intentions, or reviewing your goals, the mind begins the day with clarity. That clarity carries forward, allowing you to make better decisions, solve problems faster, and maintain emotional balance. Part of an effective morning routine is incorporating practices that nourish your spirit. It could be reading an inspiring passage, listening to motivational content, or reflecting on what you are grateful for. When you engage with positive thoughts first thing in the morning, your brain is trained to focus on solutions and opportunities rather than problems and fears. You become more resilient to challenges because your mind has already experienced encouragement before the world demands your energy. This early reinforcement is subtle but incredibly powerful. It shapes how you perceive challenges and how much energy you have to handle them. Movement and physical activity are also essential components of a morning routine. Your body and mind are connected, and the state of one affects the other. Gentle stretching, a short walk, or a few exercises can wake up the nervous system and release tension stored in the body. Physical activity increases blood flow, energizes the brain, and improves mood. By prioritizing your body in the morning, you create a baseline of energy and focus. You are better equipped to face challenges without succumbing to frustration or fatigue. Another critical part of the morning routine is planning your day intentionally. Instead of reacting to what comes first, you decide what matters most. Writing down top priorities, breaking tasks into manageable steps, and scheduling your time allows your mind to feel organized and ready. This intentionality prevents overwhelm. It prevents the feeling of being dragged by circumstances. When you know what actions will guide your day, you are anchored in purpose and less likely to be shaken by unexpected events. Consistency is the key to the power of a morning routine. One intentional morning may not change much, but repeated mornings compound their effect. Your mind begins to crave this stability. Your brain forms habits that prioritize clarity, focus, and emotional resilience. Over weeks and months, you will notice a profound change in your response to stress. Situations that once triggered anxiety or irritation are now met with calm determination. Your mornings become a shield that protects your energy before the day even begins. It is also important to tailor your morning routine to your needs. Some people thrive with quiet meditation, others with physical movement, and others with journaling or planning. The specific actions are less important than the intention behind them. You are creating a routine that signals to your mind, I am ready, I am prepared, I am in control. When your morning routine reflects what strengthens you personally, it becomes a reliable source of stability. Creating a morning routine does not mean your day will be free of problems or stress. Life will still bring unexpected challenges, but a morning routine strengthens your internal foundation so that challenges do not derail you. You start the day anchored, not scattered. You approach problems with clarity instead of panic. You maintain emotional balance even when others around you are reactive or chaotic. The routine becomes a tool that you carry with you, quietly supporting your strength all day long. Number 7. Reframe challenges as opportunities for personal inner growth. Life has a way of hitting you with situations that feel unfair and unbearable. Most people wake up feeling trapped by problems they cannot control. They look at difficulties and only see pain, frustration, and limitation. They feel powerless because their attention is fixed on what is wrong instead of what is possible. But here is the truth that changes everything. Every challenge you face is an opportunity for inner growth. It may not feel that way in the moment. It may feel heavy, unjust, and exhausting. But if you shift your perspective, you will see that challenges are the raw material from which strength, resilience, and character are built. Reframing challenges starts with awareness. You must notice when you are interpreting events as purely negative. Your mind naturally reacts to threats with fear, anger, or worry. That is a survival mechanism, but it can trap you in a cycle of helplessness. Pause and ask yourself a different question. What can I learn from this situation? How can this experience make me stronger? How can this difficulty teach me patience, creativity, or self-control? Shifting your questions reshapes your mindset. It trains your brain to look for opportunity even in hardship. This mental exercise is the foundation of personal growth. One of the first steps in reframing challenges is to accept reality without resistance. Most people fight against the situation itself. They complain, deny, or wish things were different. This resistance drains energy and limits growth. Acceptance does not mean giving up or approving of the situation. It means acknowledging what is happening and focusing on what you can do to move forward. When you stop wasting energy on denial or anger, you free your mind to focus on solutions and learning. Acceptance is the first tool in transforming difficulty into growth. After acceptance comes reflection. Reflection allows you to examine your own responses, choices, and patterns. Difficult situations reveal weaknesses that you can improve and strengths that you may have overlooked. Ask yourself, how did I contribute to this problem? What habits or beliefs could be strengthened to prevent it next time? What skills or knowledge can I develop to handle similar situations better? Reflection turns adversity into a mirror for personal growth. It shows you areas that need attention and provides insight into how to become stronger and wiser. Another critical component of reframing challenges is taking action. Awareness and reflection are important, but growth requires movement. Break the challenge into actionable steps. Even small steps toward resolution or improvement create progress. Action also reinforces your sense of control. When you act intentionally, you signal to yourself that you are capable of handling difficulty. Each step becomes a lesson in resilience, patience, and adaptability. Growth happens not just in thought, but in consistent, deliberate action. Challenges also teach emotional strength. Every time you experience discomfort, frustration, or fear and choose to respond constructively, you expand your emotional capacity. You learn that emotions are signals, not instructions. You learn that you can feel discomfort without being overwhelmed by it. This emotional mastery is a cornerstone of inner growth. Life will continue to present obstacles, but as you practice navigating them with awareness, reflection, and action, you become resilient. You develop a mind that is calm under pressure and a spirit that refuses to be broken. Reframing challenges also requires patience. Growth is rarely immediate. The lessons embedded in difficulties often take time to reveal themselves. You may experience repeated challenges in similar areas until you fully learn what you need to learn. Do not become discouraged when progress feels slow. Each difficult experience is shaping you, even if the effect is not yet visible. Trust in the process. Growth accumulates through repeated exposure to challenges and intentional practice in how you respond to them. Gratitude can amplify this process. Even in difficult circumstances, there are elements of opportunity, learning, and support that can be appreciated. Focusing on gratitude shifts your mind from scarcity and suffering to possibility and expansion. This does not mean ignoring pain. It means acknowledging growth potential. For example, if you face conflict at work, be grateful for the chance to develop communication skills. If health issues arise, be grateful for the opportunity to learn discipline or patience. Gratitude combined with reframing accelerates personal growth. Reframing challenges also strengthens your problem-solving ability. When you approach a difficulty with the mindset that it is an opportunity, your mind begins to search for solutions instead of dwelling on problems. Creativity and innovation emerge when you see obstacles as puzzles to solve rather than threats to avoid. Each challenge faced in this way teaches you to think critically, adapt quickly, and approach future problems with confidence. Over time, your ability to navigate complex situations improves dramatically. It is important to reframe challenges consistently, not just occasionally. Growth is a lifelong practice. Life will continue to present situations that feel uncomfortable, unfair, or overwhelming. Each time you consciously choose to see these situations as opportunities for inner development, you reinforce a mindset of strength. You train your brain to perceive difficulties as teachers rather than enemies. You train your heart to persist, adapt, and remain courageous even when circumstances are hard. Another element of growth through challenges is resilience in relationships. Many challenges involve interactions with others. Conflict, misunderstanding, or betrayal can feel devastating. Reframing these experiences as growth opportunities allows you to learn communication skills, empathy, and boundary setting. You become a stronger, more grounded person in your relationships. You learn to navigate interpersonal difficulties with patience and clarity rather than reactive emotion. Each relationship challenge becomes a training ground for emotional intelligence and personal strength. Reframing also requires letting go of attachment to specific outcomes. Many people suffer because they expect life to unfold in a certain way. When reality does not match expectations, frustration and disappointment arise. By focusing on growth rather than fixed outcomes, you release unnecessary suffering. You shift your energy toward learning, adaptability, and skill building. You become proactive rather than reactive. This mindset reduces stress and strengthens your ability to handle uncertainty with confidence. It is essential to maintain perspective when reframing challenges. Step back and see the bigger picture. This difficulty is one moment in a larger life journey. While it may feel overwhelming now, it is temporary. It offers lessons that will serve you for years to come. Perspective allows you to respond with clarity and courage rather than panic or despair. It anchors your mind and nurtures your resilience. Each challenge reframed in this way becomes a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. Number 8. Speak positive affirmations when negative thoughts overwhelm you. There are days when your mind feels like a storm. Thoughts pile up, worries multiply, and fear seems to dominate every corner of your awareness. Most people allow these thoughts to control their emotions. They replay doubts, fears, and regrets like a broken record. This creates anxiety, discouragement, and a sense of powerlessness. You may feel trapped, as though there is no way to escape the constant barrage of negativity. But there is a tool you can use that is immediate, powerful, and often overlooked. Speaking positive affirmations is one of the most effective ways to regain control when negative thoughts threaten to dominate your mind. Positive affirmations are simple statements that reinforce your strength, value, and capability. They are short, clear, and direct sentences that you repeat to yourself intentionally. The key is repetition and belief. When your thoughts are negative, your mind needs reinforcement to shift its focus. Saying aloud, "I am capable of handling this," or "I choose calm and clarity," interrupts destructive thought patterns. It replaces fear with confidence. It reminds your brain that you are not powerless. It allows you to reclaim control of your emotions in real time. The power of affirmations comes from repetition. One statement may not change your mood immediately. Your brain has been conditioned over years to notice failures, risks, and threats. Negative patterns are deeply ingrained. By speaking affirmations consistently, you retrain your mind. You teach yourself to notice possibilities instead of problems. You learn to focus on what you can control rather than what scares you. Over time, your mind begins to automatically align with positive statements, making your emotional responses stronger and more resilient. Affirmations also work because they engage your body as well as your mind. When you speak words aloud, your voice and posture reinforce your intention. Standing tall, breathing deeply, and speaking clearly signals to your body that you are confident and composed. Your nervous system responds by reducing tension and increasing focus. This creates a feedback loop where your mind and body support each other. Each repetition of affirmations strengthens both your emotional and physical readiness to face challenges. It is important to personalize your affirmations. Generic statements can feel hollow. Use words that resonate with your current struggles and aspirations. For example, if you feel overwhelmed by work, you might say, "I am focused and organized," or "I handle each task with clarity and patience." If you struggle with self-doubt, say, "I am worthy of success," or "I trust myself to make wise decisions." When your affirmations are directly relevant to your situation, they become a guiding force that redirects your attention and energy toward constructive action. Consistency is vital. Many people try affirmations once or twice and give up when the impact is not instant. Positive change takes time. Repetition strengthens neural pathways in your brain. Each time you speak affirmations, you create mental habits that support resilience. You begin to notice negative thoughts. interrupt them, and replace them with statements of strength. This practice gradually shifts your baseline emotional state. You become more centered, calm, and capable even when external circumstances are challenging or unpredictable. Affirmations are also a tool for preparation. Before facing a difficult conversation, a demanding task, or a stressful situation, speaking affirmations primes your mind for success. It reminds you of your capabilities. It reminds you that you have resources to handle difficulty. This preparation reduces anxiety and enhances performance. By creating a routine of affirmations, you equip yourself with a mental shield that keeps you strong under pressure. It is important to pair affirmations with belief and visualization. Simply repeating words is not enough if your mind does not engage with their meaning. As you speak affirmations, imagine yourself acting with the strength, clarity, and confidence you are declaring. Feel the emotions associated with success and calmness. The combination of words, belief, and sensory engagement strengthens neural connections in your brain. It creates an internal reality where positivity, courage, and composure are the default responses. Negative thoughts will still arise. They are inevitable because life is unpredictable and your mind is conditioned to notice threats. Affirmations do not eliminate challenges or unpleasant feelings. Instead, they provide a tool to manage those thoughts constructively. When negativity appears, pause, breathe, and speak your affirmation. Repeat it until your focus shifts. Over time, this interrupts automatic reactions of fear, doubt, or frustration and replaces them with calm, deliberate responses. Affirmations also build self-trust. Each time you choose to speak positive words over negative ones, you reinforce the idea that you have control over your mind. You are not a passive observer of your emotions. You become the conscious architect of your mental state. This self-trust is crucial when life throws unexpected challenges. The more you rely on affirmations to stabilize yourself, the more confidence you gain in your ability to navigate uncertainty. Another benefit of affirmations is the cumulative effect on your mindset. Daily repetition gradually reshapes your perception of yourself and your circumstances. Challenges that once felt overwhelming become manageable. Obstacles that once triggered panic become opportunities to demonstrate resilience. Your mental patterns shift from fear-based to solution-focused. This transformation strengthens your inner stability and equips you to face life with courage and clarity consistently. Number 9. Take care of your body to protect mental strength. Life does not wait for you to feel ready. Most people try to push through challenges while neglecting their physical health. They skip meals, avoid exercise, stay up late, and ignore warning signs from their bodies. This creates a hidden drain on mental strength. When your body is tired, sore, or malnourished, your mind becomes foggy and emotions become harder to control. Stress hits harder, focus weakens, and patience diminishes. The truth is that mental resilience cannot exist independently of physical well-being. Taking care of your body is essential to protecting and enhancing your mental strength. Your body is the foundation for everything you do. Sleep is the first pillar. Without sufficient rest, your brain cannot process information effectively. Emotional regulation falters, memory weakens, and judgment becomes clouded. Sleep is not optional. It is necessary for mental stability. Prioritize 7 to 9 hours every night. Make your sleep environment calm and consistent. Avoid screens, caffeine, and distractions before bed. A well-rested mind responds to challenges with clarity instead of panic. Sleep is the quiet strength that prepares you for every battle life presents. Nutrition is the second pillar. What you eat directly affects how you think, feel, and react. Processed foods, sugar, and irregular eating patterns create energy crashes and irritability. Your brain needs steady fuel to function at its best. Focus on whole foods, vegetables, protein, and healthy fats. Hydration is equally important. Water is the vehicle for clear thinking and emotional balance. When you care for your body with proper nutrition, your mind gains the stamina to endure stress, solve problems, and maintain calm under pressure. Exercise is another critical component. Movement strengthens not only your muscles, but your resilience. Physical activity releases endorphins that lift mood and reduce stress. It also trains your body to tolerate discomfort, which translates to mental toughness. Even short, daily sessions of walking, stretching, or strength training improve focus and energy. Your body becomes more responsive and less fatigued. When you make exercise a priority, you reinforce a sense of discipline that carries over to every decision and challenge you face. Paying attention to posture and breathing also matters. Many people underestimate how slumping, shallow breathing, or tension in the body affects the mind. Poor posture reduces energy, increases fatigue, and amplifies negative emotion. Deep, controlled breathing activates the nervous system and reduces anxiety. Standing tall, walking with confidence, and practicing breathing exercises create a mind-body alignment that supports strength and clarity. Your physical presence signals to your brain that you are grounded and ready. Routine care is also essential. Regular medical checkups, dental care, and preventive measures help maintain long-term health. Ignoring warning signs or putting off treatment creates unnecessary stress and uncertainty. When your health is attended to, your mind can focus on challenges and growth rather than worrying about avoidable issues. This foresight protects emotional energy and reinforces a sense of self-responsibility. Taking care of your body sends a message to yourself that you value your own strength and capability. Body and mind are deeply interconnected. Emotional stability depends on physical resilience. When you feel tired, hungry, in pain, your mind struggles to focus and your emotions are harder to regulate. By consistently nurturing your body, you create a foundation that supports mental strength in every situation. Eating well, sleeping enough, moving regularly, and addressing health concerns reinforce your ability to respond calmly, think clearly, and maintain confidence. Mental resilience is built on the framework of a strong and healthy body. Number 10. Pause. Breathe deeply and reset when stress feels overwhelming. Life moves fast, and most people feel like they are constantly behind. Deadlines, responsibilities, and unexpected challenges pile up, creating pressure that can feel unbearable. Many try to push through without stopping, thinking that moving faster will solve the problem. The truth is that when your mind and body are overloaded, performance declines, emotions become volatile, and decisions are clouded. Stress can hijack your focus and make you reactive instead of deliberate. Pausing and breathing deeply is one of the simplest and most powerful tools to regain control, clarity, and calm when life feels overwhelming. Taking a moment to pause is not a luxury. It is a necessity. When you stop, even for a few seconds, you interrupt the cycle of stress. You create space between stimulus and response. This space allows you to observe your thoughts and emotions instead of being controlled by them. Pausing helps your mind catch up to your life. It reminds you that you are in control and capable of managing challenges. Even a short pause signals to your nervous system that it is safe to release tension and return to a state of focus and balance. Deep breathing is a natural reset button for your body and mind. When stress rises, breathing often becomes shallow and rapid. This triggers a physiological response that increases heart rate, tightens muscles, and amplifies anxiety. Slow, deep breaths send the opposite signal. Breathing deeply engages the diaphragm, slows your heart rate, and relaxes your muscles. It floods your body with oxygen and signals to your brain that it is safe to focus. This physical change immediately reduces the intensity of stress and allows your mind to think more clearly and respond more effectively. The technique is simple, but requires intentionality. Inhale slowly through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold for a moment. Exhale through your mouth for 6 to 8 seconds. Focus on the sensation of the air entering your body, filling your lungs, and leaving your body. Each breath becomes an anchor, a reminder that you are present and capable. When negative thoughts or panic arise, returning to this rhythm helps you regain composure and focus on what truly matters. Pausing and breathing also improves decision-making. When overwhelmed, people often react impulsively, escalating problems instead of solving them. A deep breath creates a mental gap, allowing you to evaluate your options objectively. It gives you the clarity to prioritize actions instead of being swept away by emotion. Over time, this practice trains your mind to respond calmly under pressure, making you more resilient and composed in every situation. Incorporating this practice regularly strengthens your overall stress resilience. Many people think that coping with stress is about pushing harder or ignoring discomfort. In reality, consistent pauses and deep breathing create a foundation for long-term mental stability. Practicing this habit during calm moments prepares your body and mind to handle stress more effectively when it inevitably arises. You are not waiting for the storm to pass, you are learning to remain steady in its midst. Mindfulness can enhance the effect of pausing and breathing. As you inhale and exhale, notice your body, thoughts, and emotions without judgment. Observe tension in your muscles, racing thoughts, or anxious feelings. Acknowledge them and return your focus to the breath. This awareness increases emotional intelligence and strengthens the connection between mind and body. It allows you to respond to challenges intentionally rather than reacting automatically. Pausing, breathing, and observing creates a calm, centered state from which you can take deliberate action. This practice is also an act of self-care. Many people overlook the importance of giving themselves a moment to reset. Pausing and breathing signals that your well-being matters. It communicates to yourself that your mind and body deserve care and attention. When stress threatens to overwhelm, these few moments of intentional pause restore energy, focus, and emotional balance. It empowers you to face difficulties with resilience, calmness, and clarity. Number 11. Keep a journal to release emotions and gain clarity. Life is full of situations that weigh heavily on your mind. Most people carry these thoughts inside, hoping they will sort themselves out. Stress, confusion, and frustration build silently when emotions are left unexpressed. The result is mental clutter that clouds judgment and drains energy. A journal provides a safe space to unload these thoughts and feelings. Writing down emotions is not about creating perfect sentences or stories. It is about releasing the weight that keeps your mind trapped in cycles of worry and overthinking. Journaling is a tool that helps you process, understand, and move forward with clarity. When you write, you give yourself permission to feel without judgment. Many people suppress emotions because they fear being weak or vulnerable. Holding back emotions, however, does not make you stronger. It creates tension, anxiety, and indecision. Journaling allows you to identify what is truly bothering you. You see patterns, triggers, and recurring thoughts that might have been invisible before. Once these elements are on paper, your mind can step back and analyze them. Awareness leads to understanding, and understanding leads to actionable solutions that relieve mental burden. A journal also helps you clarify priorities. When overwhelmed, decisions feel complicated, and energy drains quickly. Writing down goals, concerns, and responsibility allows you to see what really matters. Each entry becomes a map that guides your focus. It prevents scattered energy and impulsive reactions. Daily journaling builds a habit of reflection and structure. You begin to notice how small choices affect your emotional state. Gradually, your mind learns to operate with more precision and less chaos, reducing stress and improving problem-solving skills. Emotions are often tangled with stories we tell ourselves. Fear, guilt, or anger can grow when unexamined. Journaling separates the emotion from the narrative. By writing honestly, you see the difference between what you feel and what you assume. This separation gives perspective. You realize that not every thought reflects reality. You gain distance from negative thinking patterns, which reduces emotional intensity. Over time, this practice strengthens your mental resilience and improves your ability to respond calmly in difficult situations. The act of journaling itself is calming. Putting pen to paper or fingers to keyboard provides a tactile and mental anchor. The focus required to articulate thoughts interrupts the spiral of anxious thinking. Each word grounds you in the present moment. You feel a sense of relief and control as ideas and emotions take shape outside your head. Journaling is not just a recording tool, it is a reset mechanism. Regular practice lowers stress hormones, improves clarity, and fosters a sense of emotional safety. Journals can be used for problem solving as well. Many people get stuck in mental loops, overthinking without progress. Writing down a challenge in detail encourages exploration of solutions. You can list options, weigh consequences, and plan actions clearly. This externalization reduces overwhelm and gives a sense of empowerment. By documenting steps, you track progress and celebrate solutions that work. The journal becomes a personal guidebook for navigating life's difficulties, building confidence, and strengthening your inner resilience. Reflecting on gratitude and positive experiences in a journal enhances perspective. While venting frustrations is important, including moments of joy, achievement, or learning balances your mental state. You begin to see growth even in hard times. Journaling allows you to capture lessons, appreciate small victories, and reinforce hope. This consistent practice strengthens optimism, making you better equipped to face future challenges. Emotional release combined with reflection transforms your journal into a powerful tool for sustained mental and emotional strength. Number 12. Set realistic goals that give you daily motivation. Most people start their days feeling overwhelmed by the distance between where they are and where they want to be. They wake up with ambition, but quickly get discouraged because their goals feel impossible. When you set unrealistic goals, you invite frustration and self-doubt. Your mind begins to see failure before any real progress is made. Daily motivation depends on clarity and achievable targets. Realistic goals provide direction and energy. They give you something concrete to work on, which keeps your spirit engaged and prevents the heavy weight of uncertainty from paralyzing your efforts. A realistic goal is not about limiting yourself or thinking small. It is about understanding your current resources, skills, and time. Many people fail to recognize their capacity and overestimate what they can do in a short period. This leads to burnout and disappointment. By breaking larger ambitions into achievable steps, you create a series of victories that reinforce your confidence. Each completed step motivates you to continue. Your mind experiences the satisfaction of progress instead of the frustration of stagnation, which keeps your drive alive. Daily motivation comes from seeing movement toward your goals. Writing them down makes them tangible. Seeing a task on paper gives your mind a reference point. It reduces the chaos of competing priorities and keeps you focused on what matters most today. When you know exactly what you need to accomplish in a day, you are less likely to be distracted by unnecessary worries or obligations. This clarity creates momentum. Momentum creates energy. Energy builds consistency, and consistency forms habits that lead to long-term achievement. A realistic goal forces you to evaluate your habits and actions. It challenges you to match your effort with your objectives. Many people fail not because they lack ambition, but because they lack a plan that fits their reality. Goals act as a mirror, reflecting where your focus is effective and where adjustments are needed. Journaling or tracking your progress helps you notice small wins and areas for improvement. This process strengthens your awareness and teaches accountability. You begin to trust your ability to make daily decisions that push you closer to success. When challenges arise, realistic goals prevent overwhelm. Life is unpredictable, and unexpected obstacles often derail unstructured plans. Small, achievable steps allow for flexibility while maintaining forward movement. Each day becomes an opportunity to solve problems, learn, and adapt. This method reduces fear of failure because the scale of your goals is manageable. You see that setbacks are temporary and do not erase progress. You learn resilience, patience, and persistence naturally. Your mind stays engaged instead of defeated. Realistic goals also reinforce emotional stability. When goals are clear, you do not waste energy on comparison or self-criticism. Your focus shifts to progress, not perfection. Every completed task brings satisfaction, reducing anxiety about the future. You develop a rhythm in life, knowing what to prioritize and what to let go. Motivation grows from a foundation of achievable expectations, not from pressure or external validation. Your confidence strengthens, and your daily drive becomes a natural outcome of well-structured effort. Motivation is fueled further when goals align with your values and purpose. Random targets or obligations create stress rather than inspiration. Realistic goals that reflect your priorities produce intrinsic motivation. They are energizing, not exhausting. Each day, you wake up with a sense of purpose and a clear path forward. Even small achievements reinforce your self-belief and emotional resilience. Over time, this consistency compounds. Your daily effort builds not only tangible results, but also mental strength and personal fulfillment. Number 13. Ask for help instead of carrying pain in silence. Life has a way of weighing heavily on people, often in ways that feel unbearable and private. Many endure hardship silently because they fear judgment, or think seeking help is a sign of weakness. In reality, refusing to share your struggles magnifies the burden, creating isolation and unnecessary stress. Carrying pain alone can cloud judgment, distort self-perception, and erode emotional resilience. Asking for help is not a weakness, but a strategic act of self-preservation. It is a conscious acknowledgement that human beings are interconnected and that support is a vital resource. Reaching out transforms isolation into connection, and connection builds strength. Most people underestimate the power of honest communication with trusted individuals. Sharing your struggles with someone who listens empathetically provides immediate relief. Your mind begins to process pain with clarity instead of chaos. Talking about difficulties allows perspectives to shift and solutions to emerge that were previously invisible. Silence often breeds rumination and anxiety, whereas expressing emotions creates space for understanding and healing. Human beings are designed for community, and leveraging that natural support system protects mental and emotional health. Asking for help requires courage and humility. It involves acknowledging vulnerability, which many people fear. Vulnerability does not indicate weakness. but demonstrates self-awareness and responsibility for personal growth. When you articulate your needs, you are actively taking control of your emotional state rather than letting it control you. Support can come in many forms, such as listening, guidance, professional counseling, or simply shared empathy. Recognizing that you are not alone reduces feelings of shame and reinforces your inner strength. Carrying pain in silence also prevents progress. Unexpressed emotions tend to accumulate and influence decisions unconsciously. Anger, frustration, or grief that is not shared often manifests as stress, insomnia, or irritability. Asking for help interrupts this destructive cycle. It introduces accountability and creates a structure for dealing with challenges effectively. Every conversation about your struggles becomes a small step toward emotional freedom. Sharing your burden lightens it while reinforcing resilience and self-confidence. Culturally and socially, there is often pressure to appear strong at all times. People fear that admitting difficulty will affect their reputation or relationships. Yet, hiding struggles can erode trust and intimacy with others. Openness fosters genuine connection and mutual understanding. When you ask for help, you model healthy behavior for others and encourage reciprocal support. Relationships become sources of strength instead of additional stress. Trust grows when you demonstrate honesty, vulnerability, and the willingness to receive assistance. Practical strategies for asking help include identifying trusted individuals, being specific about your needs, and choosing appropriate timing. Some people respond better to direct requests, while others benefit from simply listening. Professional support, such as therapy or coaching, offers structured guidance that can accelerate emotional processing. Even casual sharing with friends or family relieves emotional tension. The key is consistent action. Reaching out once may provide temporary relief, but regular engagement nurtures ongoing support and reinforces the habit of not facing challenges alone. Ultimately, asking for help reshapes your approach to adversity. It converts isolation into collaboration and stress into manageable action. Pain becomes a shared experience instead of a personal burden. Each time you seek support, you strengthen your resilience, clarify your thinking, and affirm that your well-being is a priority. Over time, this practice builds a mindset that values connection, emotional intelligence, and proactive self-care. Asking for help is a daily exercise in courage, self-respect, and wisdom, ensuring that you do not carry burdens alone, but grow stronger through shared human experience. Number 14. Limit toxic influences that drain your emotional energy. Life can feel overwhelming when negative forces constantly surround you. Toxic influences are not always obvious, yet their impact slowly erodes mental strength and emotional balance. These influences can come from relationships, environments, media consumption, or even internalized beliefs. People who constantly criticize, belittle, or manipulate contribute to emotional exhaustion without offering support. Likewise, exposure to constant negativity through social media, news, or entertainment can amplify fear, stress, and self-doubt. Recognizing and limiting these sources is essential to preserve clarity, focus, and inner peace. Boundaries act as a shield, allowing energy to be used for growth rather than depletion. Identifying toxic influences requires honest self-reflection. You need to observe patterns that consistently leave you feeling drained or anxious. Pay attention to interactions that evoke anger, frustration, or hopelessness. Notice environments that stifle your creativity or make you question your self-worth. Recognizing these influences is the first step toward controlling their impact. Once you identify them, you can make conscious decisions to reduce exposure. Limiting toxic elements does not mean avoiding challenges. It means protecting your emotional core so that you can respond to difficulties effectively and calmly. Boundaries are crucial in managing toxic influences. Learning to say no, to step away from harmful situations, and to control access to your time and energy is essential. Boundaries create structure and prevent external negativity from infiltrating your emotional well-being. They allow you to prioritize people and activities that nurture your growth instead of draining it. Setting limits may feel uncomfortable initially, especially when dealing with long-term relationships or social obligations. However, this discomfort is temporary, and the long-term benefits include greater resilience, mental clarity, and a stronger sense of self. Reducing toxic influences also involves curating your informational and digital environments. Social media, news cycles, and online interactions often carry hidden stresses. Endless exposure to opinions, conflicts, and sensationalism can increase anxiety and decrease motivation. Being intentional about what you consume helps maintain emotional stability. Choose sources that educate, inspire, or support your personal development. Limit interactions that provoke unnecessary stress or envy. A disciplined approach to consumption strengthens focus and ensures your energy is spent on meaningful pursuits, rather than scattered by negativity. Toxic influences can also be internal. Negative self-talk, doubt, and self-criticism drain mental energy just as much as external forces. Awareness and conscious effort are required to counter these internal toxins. Practice self-compassion and replace harmful narratives with constructive perspectives. Affirm your strengths and acknowledge progress regularly. Managing internal negativity is inseparable from managing external influences. Together, they form a comprehensive approach to maintaining emotional equilibrium and mental strength. Relationships require careful evaluation. Not all connections are beneficial, even when they have existed for years. Some friendships, family dynamics, or professional relationships may consistently reduce your energy without providing support or encouragement. Distinguishing between temporary conflict and persistent toxicity is essential. In cases of persistent negativity, limiting contact, reducing emotional investment, or seeking mediation may be necessary. Preserving your emotional health is a priority, and making difficult decisions regarding relationships is a vital aspect of self-care. Limiting toxic influences ultimately enhances life satisfaction and mental resilience. It frees space for positive interactions, personal growth, and purposeful action. Emotional energy becomes a renewable resource instead of a constantly depleted commodity. Your ability to respond to stress, take risks, and pursue goals strengthens as negativity diminishes. Each step toward creating a healthier environment, whether external or internal, compounds over time, leading to sustained mental clarity and inner peace. Awareness, action, and consistency are the keys to protecting your emotional energy from constant erosion. Number 15. Celebrate small wins to keep your strength consistently alive. Life can feel heavy when progress seems invisible. Most people overlook the small victories and only focus on major achievements. Ignoring these tiny successes causes motivation to fade and resilience to weaken. Small wins, however, act like fuel for the mind, reinforcing effort and building momentum. Each step forward, no matter how minor, signals growth and capability. Celebrating these wins creates positive feedback loops that encourage consistency and determination. When you acknowledge even minor progress, your mind associates effort with reward, strengthening your emotional stamina. The practice of celebrating small wins begins with awareness. You must observe your actions and recognize moments of progress that often go unnoticed. Completing a task you postponed, overcoming a minor fear, or even managing your time effectively counts as a small victory. Writing these moments down or verbally acknowledging them reinforces their significance. The brain responds to recognition and reward, which releases dopamine and increases motivation. This simple habit nurtures confidence and reminds you that consistent effort produces results over time. Celebration does not require extravagance. It can be as simple as a self-affirming statement, a short reflection, or taking a moment to appreciate the achievement. Treating these moments with significance validates your effort and strengthens your mindset. Simple rewards signal that effort is valuable, regardless of scale. Recognizing incremental progress keeps your energy focused and prevents discouragement when larger goals seem distant. Every small win becomes a building block for larger accomplishments, creating a chain of confidence and resilience that grows stronger daily. Incorporating small celebrations into routines ensures they are consistent. After completing a task or reaching a milestone, pause intentionally to acknowledge the achievement. This could involve sharing the win with a supportive friend, marking it in a journal, or taking a moment for quiet reflection. These moments of acknowledgement allow the brain to register progress and reinforce motivation. Over time, this practice strengthens persistence and improves the ability to handle setbacks without losing momentum. Celebrating consistently fosters a mindset of progress rather than perfection. Small wins also help shift perspective during challenges. When faced with setbacks, focusing on minor victories prevents discouragement and promotes emotional resilience. Even in difficult circumstances, identifying progress, learning, or adaptive behavior encourages optimism. Celebrating small wins teaches that every effort matters and that growth is gradual. This mindset prevents frustration from undermining mental strength. Recognizing the value of small successes keeps the focus on improvement rather than stagnation. Another benefit of celebrating small wins is building self-belief. Repeated acknowledgement of minor achievements reminds you that you are capable of progress and that effort produces results. Self-confidence grows organically as small wins accumulate into larger accomplishments. This cumulative effect strengthens perseverance and mental endurance. By valuing each step forward, you train yourself to remain engaged and motivated even when challenges are persistent or overwhelming. In addition, celebrating small wins nurtures a positive emotional environment. Gratitude for progress encourages satisfaction and reduces stress. Positive emotions generated from acknowledging wins promote creativity, problem-solving, and resilience. It also creates a sense of momentum, making future challenges seem more approachable. Every small win celebrated reinforces the belief that effort is meaningful and growth is constant. This approach transforms daily actions into a continuous cycle of progress, reward, and reinforcement, keeping your strength consistently alive and growing steadily. Number 16. Practice forgiveness to release heavy emotional burdens daily. Life has a way of accumulating weight in the form of grudges, past mistakes, and unresolved conflicts. Most people carry this weight unknowingly, and it seeps into their thoughts, decisions, and emotional well-being. Forgiveness is not about excusing wrongdoing or forgetting painful experiences. It is about freeing yourself from the chains of anger, resentment, and bitterness that keep your mind trapped. Holding on to grudges drains energy, prevents clarity, and limits your ability to grow emotionally. By practicing forgiveness daily, you create space for peace, understanding, and emotional freedom. Forgiveness is a gift you give yourself more than anyone else. Daily forgiveness requires awareness and intentionality. You must first acknowledge the emotions that trouble you and identify the people or situations tied to them. It is easy to ignore negative feelings, but unaddressed resentment grows over time. Write down your thoughts, speak them aloud, or reflect quietly to process your emotions fully. Accepting the presence of anger or hurt does not mean you are weak. It means you are honest with yourself and ready to take control of your emotional state. This acknowledgement is the first step toward releasing the burden and cultivating inner strength. The process of forgiveness involves choice. You actively decide to let go of negative feelings that anchor you to the past. This does not happen instantly, and it requires patience and persistence. Each day, choose to release one small grievance or negative thought. Start with minor offenses and gradually move toward more significant issues. With repeated practice, the mind learns to detach from harmful emotional patterns. This habitual release reduces stress, clears mental clutter, and opens your heart to compassion and understanding. Forgiveness strengthens relationships and personal growth. When you forgive, you no longer carry the weight of blame or judgment. Interactions become less tense and communication improves. This does not mean all relationships must continue, but it allows you to engage without resentment clouding your judgment. Forgiveness helps you see others as imperfect humans, just like yourself, and fosters empathy. It also creates an internal environment where trust, patience, and resilience can flourish. Emotional healing accelerates as you let go of grudges and allow yourself to focus on positive interactions. Another dimension of forgiveness is self-forgiveness. People often struggle to forgive themselves for past mistakes, missed opportunities, or poor decisions. Self-forgiveness is crucial because internalized guilt and shame create a heavy emotional burden. Reflect honestly on your actions, understand your limitations at the time, and recognize the lessons learned. Releasing self-blame allows for growth, learning, and renewal. Daily practice of self-forgiveness ensures that you do not remain imprisoned by regret and prevents negative self-talk from dictating your life. Forgiveness also enhances mental and physical health. Carrying resentment increases stress hormones, elevates blood pressure, and harms immune function. Letting go reduces anxiety, promotes emotional stability, and supports a calm mind. When you forgive, your body and mind work together to create a healthier, more resilient version of yourself. Forgiveness is an act of self-care that strengthens your ability to face challenges without being weighed down by emotional baggage. It allows you to respond to difficulties with clarity and emotional balance. Finally, daily forgiveness is a practice of freedom. Each day offers an opportunity to release what no longer serves you and to embrace peace. Forgiveness does not negate the reality of pain, but it transforms your response to it. You regain control over your emotions, reclaim your energy, and nurture a more resilient and balanced mindset. Practicing forgiveness daily is a commitment to yourself, a dedication to mental strength, and a step toward living with lighter emotional burdens and a deeper sense of inner peace. Number 17. Focus on solutions instead of dwelling on difficulties. Life has a way of throwing challenges at everyone, sometimes all at once. Most people get stuck in cycles of worry, frustration, and overthinking when difficulties arise. It is natural to feel overwhelmed, but constantly focusing on problems only magnifies stress and drains mental energy. Dwelling on difficulties keeps the mind locked in negative loops and prevents progress. The most resilient people recognize the importance of shifting attention from the problem itself to the possible solutions. Focusing on solutions is an active practice that encourages clarity, creativity, and empowerment. It transforms challenges from barriers into opportunities for growth and problem solving. The first step to focusing on solutions is to identify the exact nature of the problem without judgment. Avoid exaggerating or minimizing the situation. Describe it clearly in your mind or write it down. This creates a framework that allows the mind to see what can be addressed and what is beyond control. Once the problem is defined, The next step is to brainstorm possible ways forward. Generating multiple options, no matter how small or imperfect, shifts the brain from passive worry to active thinking. Each step toward a solution, even minor, builds momentum and a sense of control. It is essential to adopt a mindset of curiosity rather than frustration. When challenges arise, view them as puzzles rather than obstacles. Ask yourself what can be learned from the situation and what actions can produce meaningful results. Reframing problems in this way reduces the emotional charge associated with them. It encourages creativity and innovative thinking, which often reveals solutions that were not initially obvious. Daily practice of looking for actionable steps instead of fixating on difficulties strengthens resilience and mental flexibility. Taking actionable steps is critical. Thinking about solutions is helpful, but implementing them solidifies progress. Break larger problems into smaller, achievable actions. Tackle the easiest or most immediate step first to create momentum. Each completed step provides a sense of accomplishment and reduces feelings of helplessness. This approach not only addresses the problem efficiently, but also strengthens confidence in your ability to handle future challenges. Solutions-oriented thinking is a habit that compounds over time, enhancing overall mental toughness. Another key aspect is maintaining emotional balance while pursuing solutions. Problems often trigger fear, anger, or anxiety, which cloud judgment. Recognizing these emotions without letting them control actions allows for more rational decision-making. Take breaks when necessary, breathe deeply, and approach solutions calmly. A composed mind identifies options more clearly and weighs consequences more effectively. By managing emotional responses, you preserve energy and focus for constructive problem-solving rather than wasting it on rumination. Collaboration can also enhance solution-focused thinking. Sharing challenges with trusted people allows you to gain new perspectives. Others may offer insights or approaches that you had not considered. This not only increases the likelihood of finding effective solutions, but also reduces the isolation that often accompanies difficult situations. Engaging with others in a constructive way builds a support network and reinforces the mindset that challenges are manageable and solvable. Solutions are often more achievable when diverse ideas and perspectives are considered. Finally, focusing on solutions encourages a forward-looking mindset that strengthens resilience and confidence. Dwelling on difficulties traps the mind in the past, fostering regret and frustration. Shifting attention to solutions cultivates hope, empowerment, and proactive energy. Each problem handled with a solutions-oriented approach enhances your ability to face future challenges with clarity and courage. Over time, this habit rewires the mind to respond to adversity with action instead of despair, creating a life where challenges are met with strength, creativity, and unwavering determination. Number 18. Remind yourself daily that tough times never last. Life is unpredictable, and most people experience periods of intense difficulty, uncertainty, and emotional strain. It is easy to feel trapped when challenges pile up and problems seem unending. Many give in to despair because they believe the struggle will last forever. This belief magnifies stress and erodes resilience, leaving the mind vulnerable to negative thought patterns. One of the most powerful tools for maintaining strength is the daily reminder that tough times never last. This is not wishful thinking, but a recognition of the natural ebb and flow of life. Difficult periods are temporary, and acknowledging this truth shifts perspective from fear to hope and determination. Reminding yourself daily that tough times are temporary creates a mental shield against overwhelming negativity. Start each day with a conscious affirmation that struggles are passing phases. Visualize a timeline where the current difficulties exist only as a brief segment. This practice cultivates patience, reduces anxiety and allows the mind to focus on constructive action rather than surrendering to despair. By internalizing this truth, you build resilience that can withstand both minor setbacks and major life crises. Understanding impermanence is crucial because it reminds you that your current state does not define your future. When facing difficulties, it is essential to reflect on past experiences where you overcame challenges. Recalling moments of previous success, recovery, or learning reinforces the belief that adversity is transient. These reflections remind the mind of its strength and capacity to endure. Each past victory serves as proof that tough times can be overcome. The brain starts associating hardship with eventual resolution instead of endless suffering. This mental conditioning builds confidence and reduces the paralyzing fear that often accompanies difficult situations. Daily reminders also encourage proactive strategies for coping with hardship. Acknowledging that struggles will pass does not mean ignoring them. It means approaching them with perspective and deliberate effort. Break down challenges into manageable steps and address what can be influenced today. This method prevents feeling overwhelmed and provides a sense of control. Each small action taken becomes a reinforcement of the mindset that difficulties are temporary and surmountable. Over time, this habit fosters resilience and prepares the mind to face future challenges without succumbing to panic. Another important practice is surrounding yourself with messages and people that reinforce the temporary nature of hardship. Read stories, listen to podcasts, or engage in conversations that highlight recovery and resilience. Observing others who have endured and moved past adversity strengthens belief in your own capacity. Supportive environments remind the brain that challenges are shared human experiences rather than personal failures. Daily reinforcement through external cues creates an internalized mindset where hope and persistence coexist with action and focus. It is also critical to manage emotional responses to tough times. Pain, frustration, and disappointment are natural, but they should not dominate your thinking. Accept these feelings without judgment and use them as signals for reflection and action. Emotional regulation allows the mind to remain centered and prevents negative spirals. When the brain understands that struggles are temporary, emotional reactions become balanced rather than reactive. This creates mental clarity, enabling thoughtful decisions and productive responses during adversity. Finally, internalizing the understanding that tough times never last strengthens overall mental fortitude. It cultivates optimism without ignoring reality. It encourages patience, persistence, and the courage to take necessary actions. By reminding yourself daily of this truth, you equip your mind with the stability needed to face setbacks, recover from failures, and continue progressing toward goals. Life's challenges become opportunities for growth rather than sources of despair. This mindset transforms the experience of difficulty into a journey of learning, resilience, and unwavering inner strength. Number 19. Feed your mind with books, podcasts, and inspiration. Life can feel heavy and stagnant when the mind is starved for meaningful input. Many people get trapped in repetitive thoughts, negative patterns, or shallow distractions that drain their energy and limit personal growth. The quality of your mental diet is just as important as the food you eat for your body. Feeding your mind with books, podcasts, and inspirational content is a transformative practice that opens doors to new perspectives, ideas, and emotional resilience. This is not about mindless consumption, but deliberate exposure to material that challenges your thinking and nourishes your inner strength. Every moment spent learning, reflecting, or absorbing wisdom becomes a brick in the foundation of a stronger, more capable mindset. Books offer a depth and structure that allow exploration of complex ideas over time. They provide stories of human triumph, lessons from failures and frameworks for problem solving that can guide personal decisions. Reading fosters patience, focus, and empathy. As the mind engages with characters, scenarios, and concepts beyond immediate experience, a carefully chosen book can illuminate solutions to personal challenges, reveal strategies for resilience, and inspire action. It is a tool that trains the brain to think critically while simultaneously expanding emotional intelligence. Engaging with books daily creates a steady stream of knowledge and motivation that strengthens mental endurance. Podcasts provide another powerful avenue for feeding the mind, particularly for those who are constantly on the move. Listening to experts, storytellers, and thought leaders allows absorption of valuable insights during commutes, workouts, or daily routines. Unlike passive scrolling on social media, podcasts engage focus and critical thinking. They offer exposure to fresh ideas, innovative thinking, and practical strategies for life challenges. Over time, regular podcast listening reinforces positive habits, introduces new perspectives, and motivates consistent personal development. It creates a constant cycle of mental stimulation that keeps the mind sharp, adaptable, and inspired. Inspiration is a crucial ingredient that complements knowledge and practical learning. Motivational content, whether in speeches, interviews, or reflective essays, fuels the emotional aspect of resilience. Inspiration reminds the mind that personal growth is possible despite adversity. It fosters a sense of purpose and encourages proactive steps toward improvement. When inspiration becomes a daily practice, it strengthens self-belief and reduces the paralyzing effect of fear or doubt. Combining inspiration with books and podcasts creates a holistic mental diet that engages the mind, heart, and spirit simultaneously. It is essential to curate the sources of mental nourishment carefully. Not all books, podcasts, or content provide growth or resilience. Avoid information that fosters negativity, fear, or distraction. Seek material that challenges complacency, encourages reflection, and promotes constructive action. The mind is highly impressionable, and exposure to high-quality content repeatedly rewires thinking patterns. This conscious curation ensures that your mental environment supports personal strength, resilience, and clarity instead of creating confusion or emotional fatigue. Incorporating these practices requires intentional daily commitment. Set aside time to read, listen, and reflect consistently. Even small increments, such as 15 minutes of reading or a short podcast episode, compound over weeks and months to produce profound shifts in mindset. Journaling reflections from this input further deepens understanding and transforms passive learning into actionable insight. A consistent mental diet trains the brain to recognize opportunities, solve problems creatively, and maintain equilibrium in the face of life's challenges. Feeding the mind is not merely about acquiring knowledge, but about cultivating a mindset capable of thriving under pressure. The ideas, stories, and guidance absorbed daily shape reactions, decisions, and emotional responses. A well-fed mind becomes resilient, resourceful, and adaptable. Challenges are no longer paralyzing, but are met with informed action and calm determination. By prioritizing books, podcasts, and inspirational content, you invest in long-term mental strength and create a foundation for enduring personal growth. Over time, this consistent practice becomes a powerful engine driving confidence, creativity, and emotional stability in every aspect of life. Number 20. Trust the process and believe your strength will grow. Most people live with an invisible weight pressing down on their shoulders. They wake up each morning and feel like they are already behind in life. They compare their progress to others and believe they are not moving fast enough. They wonder if all their hard work and sacrifices will ever be worth it. They carry doubt that their struggles will lead anywhere meaningful. This silent battle drains hope and creates frustration. The truth is that growth is never instant, and progress rarely looks like what we expect. Trusting the process requires patience in the face of uncertainty. It requires faith that every step, no matter how small, contributes to building strength that will eventually reveal itself in powerful ways. Life rarely unfolds in a straight line. There are twists, delays, and moments that feel like setbacks. These experiences can make people feel like giving up because progress seems invisible. Yet, real strength is built during the waiting. Trusting the process means believing that every season has a purpose even when the outcome is unclear. The difficulties you face now are shaping resilience you may not yet notice. Each challenge is laying down unseen layers of endurance. Growth often takes place in silence and becomes visible only after consistent effort has been maintained for a long time. Believing in your strength requires shifting your focus from immediate results to long-term development. Strength is not measured by how fast success arrives, but by the discipline to keep moving forward despite obstacles. Each time you stay committed when things are hard, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than you thought. Trust grows when you recognize how much you have already overcome. Looking back at past hardships and realizing you survived them builds faith in your ability to endure the present and face the future. This reflection is essential in reinforcing the belief that progress is happening, even if slowly. Many people sabotage their growth because they expect results too soon. They abandon their goals before the foundation is fully built. They doubt themselves and believe they are not capable of achieving what they started. Trusting the process requires resisting this urge to quit when results are not immediate. Patience becomes an act of courage. When you persist with faith, you allow time to work in your favor. Every day you stay consistent, you are moving closer to becoming the person you want to be. Even when it feels like nothing is changing, transformation is occurring inside you, building the strength that will sustain your future. It is important to remember that every journey has hidden stages that are not visible to the outside world. Seeds take time to grow roots before breaking through the soil. Strength works in the same way. The growth of your character, resilience, and wisdom often happens beneath the surface before it shows outwardly. Trusting the process means embracing this hidden work. It requires you to believe that the time spent in silence and struggle is not wasted. Every unseen effort adds value to your growth and prepares you for the breakthrough that will eventually come. Trust also means letting go of the need to control every outcome. Life will not always follow your plan. Unexpected situations will arise, and obstacles will test your determination. If you spend energy trying to control everything, you will become exhausted and discouraged. Instead, focus on what you can do today and release what is beyond your control. This balance of effort and surrender is the essence of trusting the process. You give your best, and then you allow life to unfold in its own time. The growth of your strength is not about perfection, but about consistency and faith. Your belief in your strength will determine how far you go. When you trust that you are capable of handling challenges, you approach life with confidence instead of fear. This confidence does not mean you will avoid hardship, but it means you will not be broken by it. Believing in your strength creates a mindset that sees every difficulty as training for greater resilience. Each obstacle becomes a stepping stone instead of a wall. This perspective shifts your focus from despair to determination. It empowers you to continue even when things are unclear. A key part of trusting the process is celebrating the progress you do not always notice. Strength is built in the small daily choices that add up over time. Every time you get up after failing, every time you push through when you are tired, every time you stay committed when it is hard, you are building strength. These small victories deserve recognition because they prove that growth is happening, Acknowledging them reinforces your belief in yourself and strengthens your trust in the journey. Trusting the process is not passive waiting. It is active persistence combined with faith. It means showing up every day, even when motivation is low, and believing that the effort matters. It requires keeping your vision alive in your mind, even when circumstances look discouraging. This kind of trust is not blind hope, but a deep conviction that growth takes time and effort, and that you are capable of enduring the journey. The more you trust, the stronger you become. The stronger you become, the more trust you develop. This cycle fuels your resilience and ensures you keep moving forward. Over time, the strength you build through trust will become unshakable. You will notice that challenges that once overwhelmed you no longer have the same power. You will realize that the very struggles you once resented were the tools that shaped your resilience. This realization deepens your faith in the process and increases your belief in yourself. You begin to understand that nothing is wasted and that every experience contributes to your growth. The trust you develop becomes a foundation you can stand on through any storm. By trusting the process and believing in your strength, you give yourself the gift of patience, resilience, and hope. You no longer measure your worth by how quickly results appear. Instead, you measure it by your commitment to keep growing. This shift brings peace and empowers you to move forward with clarity and determination. Life will always have challenges, but when you trust the process, you see them as opportunities rather than barriers. Your strength continues to grow, and your belief in yourself becomes unshakable.